Alright, so old socks for July the 19th. Luna. Old socks. 2, 4, 6, 8 socks go on the line. So why, when they come off again, it is odd. Is the odd one always mine? So they put the socks up on the line, and then all of a sudden there's mismatched socks, right? Look at this as the kitten. Look at how tiny. Look at how tiny little kitten. This is Luna. That's Riley's new kitten. Luna is absolutely perfect. I had the princess book around here. I had it downstairs. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let's see what's next. It's Sleeping Beauty. That's what the next book is. So, Sleeping Beauty. A king and a queen, once upon a time, reigned in a country in a great way off, where there were in those days fairies. Now this king and queen had plenty of money and plenty of fine clothes to wear and plenty of good things to eat and drink, and a coach to ride, out in every day. There's the kitten. Ride out in every day. But though they had been married many years, they had no children, and this grieved them very much indeed. But one day, as the queen was walking by the side of the river, at the bottom of the garden, she saw a poor little fish that had thrown himself into the water, and lay gasping nearly dead on the bank. Then the queen took pity on the little fish and threw it back again into the river. And before it swam away, it lifted its head out of the water and said, "I know what your wish is, and it shall be fulfilled. In return for your kindness to me, you will soon have a daughter." What a beautiful thing. Daughters are the best. What little fish had foretold came true to pass, and the queen had a little girl so very beautiful, and the king could not cease looking at it for joy, and said he would hold a great feast and make merry, and show the child to all the land. So he asked the king's men and the nobles and the friends and the neighbors, but the queen said, "I will not have the fairies also." I will have the fairies also, and they might be kind and good to our little daughter. Now there were 13 fairies in the kingdom, but as the king and queen had only 12 golden dishes for them to eat out of, 12 fairies came, each with a high red cap on her head, and red shoes and high heels on her feet, and a long white wand in her hand. And after the feast was over, they gathered round in a ring and gave all their best gifts to the little princess. One gave her goodness, another beauty, another riches, and so on till she had all that was good in the world. Just as the 11th of them had blessed her, a great noise was heard in the courtyard, and word was brought that the 13th fairy was coming, with a black cape on her head and black shoes on her feet and a broomstick in her hand. And presently up she came into the dining room. Now, as she had not been asked to the feast, she was very angry, and scolded the king and queen very much, and set to work to take her revenge. So she cried out, "The king's daughter, in her 15th year, be wounded by a spindle and fall down dead." Then the 12th of the friendly fairies, who had not yet given her gift, came forward and said that the evil wish must be fulfilled, but that she would soften its mischief. So her gift was that the king's daughter, who was spindle wounded her, should not really die, but should only fall asleep for 100 years. However, the king hoped still to save his dear child altogether from the threatened evil. So he ordered that all the spindles in the kingdom shall be brought up and burnt, that all the gifts the first 11 fairies were in the meantime fulfilled. For the princess was so beautiful and well behaved and good and wise that everyone who knew her loved her. It happened that on the very day she was 15 years old, the king and queen were not at home, and she was left alone in the palace. So she roved about by herself and looked at all the rooms and chambers, till at last she came to an old tower to which there was a narrow staircase ending in a little door. In the little door there was a golden key, and when she turned the door sprang open, and there sat a little old lady spinning away busily. "Why, how now, good mother," said the princess, "what are you doing there?" "Spinning," said the old lady, and nodding her head, humming a tune, while buzz went the wheel. "How prettily that little thing turns round," said the princess, and took the spindle and began to try to spin, but secretly had she touched it, before the fairy prophecy was fulfilled, that spindle wounded her, and she fell down lifeless on the ground. However, she was not dead, but had only fallen into a deep sleep, and the king and queen, who had just come home, and all their court fell asleep too, and the horses slept in the stables, and the dogs in the court, the pigeons on the housetop, and the very fairies slept upon the walls. Even the fire on the hearth left the blaze and went to sleep. The jack stopped, and the spit was turning about with a goose upon it, for the king's dinner stood still, and the cook, who was at the moment pulling the kitchen boy by the hair to give him a box on the ear for something he had done amiss, let him go, and both fell asleep. The butler, who was shyly teasing the ally, fell asleep with a jug at his lips, and thus everything stood still and slept soundly. A large hedge of thorns soon grew round the palace, and every year it became higher and thicker, till at last the old palace was surrounded and hidden, so that not even the roof or the chimneys could be seen. But there went a report through all the land of the beautiful Sleeping Beauty, for so the king's daughter was called, so that from time to time several kings' sons came and tried to break through the thicket into the palace. This, however, none of them could ever do, for the thorns and the bushes laid hold of them, as if they were hands, and there were stuck fast, and died wretchedly. After many, many years, there came a king's son into the land, and an old man told him of the story of the thicket of thorns, and how a beautiful palace stood behind it, and how a wonderful princess called Sleeping Beauty lay in it asleep, with all her courts. He told, too, how he had heard from the grandfather of many, many princes had come, and had tried to break through the thicket, but that they had all stuck fast in it and died. Then the young prince said, and this shall not frighten me. I will go and see the sleeping beauty. The old man tried to hinder him, but he was bent upon going. Now that very day the 100 years were ended, and as the prince came to the thicket he saw nothing but beautiful flowers, shrubs, through which he went with ease, and they shot in after him as thick as ever. Then he came at last to the palace, and there in the court lay the dogs asleep, and the horses were standing in the stables, and on the roof sat the pigeons, fallen fast asleep, with their heads under their wings. And when he came into the palace, the flies were sleeping on the walls. The spit was standing still. The maid sat with the fowl on her lap, ready to be plucked, and the cook in the kitchen was still holding up her hand as if she was going to hit the boy. Then he went on still further, and all was so still that he could hear every breath he drew, till at last he came to an old tower and opened the door of the little room in which Sleeping Beauty was, and there she lay fast asleep on a couch by the window. She looked so beautiful that he could not take his eyes off of her, so he stooped down and gave her a kiss. But the moment he kissed her, she opened her eyes and awoke, and smiled upon him, and they went out together. And soon the king and queen also woke, and all the court, and gazed on one another with great wonder. And the horses shook themselves, and the dogs jumped up and barked. The pigeons took their head from under their wings, and looked about, and flew into the fields. The flies on the walls buzzed again, and the fire in the kitchen blazed up. Round went Jack, and round went the spit, with the goose for the king's dinner upon it. The butler finished his draught of ale. The maid went on plucking the fowl, and the cook gave the boy the box on his ears. And then the prince and Sleeping Beauty were married, and the wedding feast was given, and they lived together all their lives. Mama loves princess stories because you just meet one person and you stay with that person for the rest of your life. That's really why I thought, I think I thought my life was going to go kind of more like a fairy tale. Pick someone and you stick it out with them forever, right? Pick someone and that's it. Doesn't matter what you go through or what happens usually. It's just, Mama likes to build the years with people. Like, I've had friends since the first grade. I've had the same friends since the first grade, and I keep those friends. I love those friends. We've known each other forever. I have the same friends from college. I have the same friends from work. I have the same friends forever. Mama seems to just, I pick people and I accept them for who and what they are, and I give unconditional love, right? Because that's the thing that you do. No one's perfect. No one's going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, right? If you have an idea in your head of that, like, any situation can be perfect no matter what it is, and everybody does everything different. Doesn't mean that they're doing it wrong or they're doing it right. Like, everybody does everything just differently. Like, from the way that you cook to the way that you eat to the way, like, some people eat with their hands, some people eat with a fork, some people eat with a fork and a knife, right? Some people eat really hot food all the time. Mama loves hot food. Some people don't eat hot food at all. But, like, that's just a good example because food is so intricate to who you are as a human being. Because some people like their food really dry. Some people like really hard cookies. Some people like really soft cookies. Like Papa, he likes chewy cookies, right? Mama likes to keep the chewy cookies too. Papa loves blueberries. Mama loves blueberries. Papa and Mama have a lot of things in common like that. One of Papa's favorite foods is hot wing stromboli. One of Mama's favorite foods, look at this kid, is hot wing stromboli. Hi, baby. Look at you. And, so it's just, Papa and Mama have a lot of our food choices aligned. Mama's gonna make dinner tomorrow night, but I don't know what I'm gonna be making. I haven't decided yet. Kind of want to go down and raid the freezer and find out what I'm gonna be making tomorrow if I'm making dinner. I like to prepare the dinners the day before. So yeah, but Mama misses you, baby. I do. I miss you so incredibly much, and I just wanted to read you the princess stories because I love the princess stories, and I thought that you might like them too. Mama loves all stories, actually. They all teach you something. Right? Alright, so let's sing Lila Tove and good night to you. Lila Tove, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Tove, may Israel protect you throughout the night until we reach the morning light. Karina, baby, just know no matter what, your mama and papa both love you. Mama loves you, papa loves you, we both love you. We both chose to have you, and we both absolutely adore you. Like Papa always used to say, Papa's my moon, Mama's his sun, and you are quite literally our rainbow baby, and we love you to pieces. We do, we love you. I can't wait to see you, I can't wait to hold you, I can't wait to have you. Take you wherever you want to go. I don't care where you want to go, I'll take you wherever you want. I used to love it at night when you used to be like, Mama, can we go here? Mama, can we go there? And I always just tell you, yes, you know, we'll go there on Thursday, we'll go there on Tuesday, we'll go there on Saturday. You always picked out different events on different days. Because you pretty much knew what the events were going to be after a while. And we used to go down and see Lolly on Thursdays and Yo-Yo on Tuesdays. And, you know, we could go and see Lolly and Yo together sometimes on the weekends, because that's when they used to work together. And they probably still do. Baby mama just lived, like, I miss you. I miss you so incredibly much, it's not even funny. I'm glad to be doing videos for you every night. I really am. Look at this kid. Jane's falling asleep. Her name is Luna. She's the best little kitten ever. She's so good. Alright, baby, Mama loves you. I will always love you, honey. I will always love you. Good night, my angel.